Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe. Make comments if you would, please. Yeah, that helps, or ask questions. Also, it's been suggested by Catherine Smith that we do another live broadcast. That's where you can actually send me questions in as I do this live, and I will certainly do my best to be entertaining, amusing, interesting and accurate as best I can. So I believe it's the first Tuesday in June. I think it's the 4th of June, and we'll definitely do that if you all want. Please do add a comment down below on whether you want to take part in that. Today I'm going to talk about HMP Prison Wandsworth, which has just been put into special conditions, emergency conditions, by the Justice Secretary, following a report by His Majesty's Chief Inspector of Prisons, Charlie Taylor, who today was featured on BBC Radio 4 Today programme. In which he was discussing the disgraceful conditions that pertain at Wandsworth Prison. From what Mr. Taylor was saying, the suicide rate there was 7 people killed themselves, terminated their lives in the last 12 months. 7? I mean, come on. What are they doing? Yeah, you see. He also said, which I thought was very telling for the Chief Inspector of Prisons, that when he was recently in Wandsworth, he said the place actually stank of marijuana. He said everywhere you went there was this scent of marijuana. Where is the drugs coming from? There weren't that big prevalence of drugs when I was there. Of course there were problems, but it usually is the staff that's smuggling it in. I hate to cast aspersions upon innocent, hard-working staff who are obviously trying their very best in very difficult circumstances. But there's a big problem with staff at HMP Wandsworth. Although on paper they are fully staffed, they are on a daily basis experiencing 30% loss of personnel. They're just not turning up for duty, calling in sick, taking time off, and people are not being disciplined for this because they've run out of options. Also, Charlie Taylor said that on the wings, the prison officers could not account for the numbers of inmates that they were in control of, or ostensibly in control of. Now, go back a little bit in time to when I was in the prison system. That was the primary duty of the prison staff. You had to know how many inmates you had, where they were, and basically in what conditions they were being held. And you were responsible for their safekeeping, really, yeah, to the best of your ability, given the facilities that were available. But these days they're just not doing that. I also believe that the hostess system is falling apart. That is where they replaced prison staff with female prison officers on male wings in male prisons. And don't forget, Wandsworth is a substantial prison. It holds 1,500 inmates in a prison that was designed in, I think it was 1847, to hold less than 1,000 inmates. Now got 1,500 in. No extra cells, just extra inmates. So that inmates are being held 2 and 3 to a cell. Vast overcrowding, according to Charlie Taylor, as he said on BBC Radio 4 this morning. He said that the problem is that the inmates are being held inside their cells for 22 to 23 hours a day. They're unsure when they're going to be opened from their cells. They're unsure when they're going to get the meals. The whole system is falling apart. Charlie Taylor blames the management, but he also blames the recruitment and inexperience of the staff. Now, when I was in the prison system, you learnt from the people that had gone before you. So it took you about a year to 18 months to get your feet under the table, so to speak, so you knew what was happening. But it's not happening these days. They haven't got this experienced staff to actually do that. So there's no role model to go up. You have to make it up as you go along. And of course we've got the problem with it being Wandsworth being in the inner London area, paying the staff an appropriate wage. I mean, when I worked at Wormwood Scrubs, my entire wage would not allow me to rent a single one-bedroom flat in London. Wasn't enough money. I had to wait until I got myself a prison quarter, which is detailed, by the way, in my book, the second book, Part 2 deals with me going to Manchester. Part 1, which is HMP Manchester Prison Officer, that deals with me getting a quarter in London. Part 2 deals with me getting a living accommodation in Manchester. And it wasn't easy back then, but at that time the Home Office were providing accommodation for staff. They're no longer doing that. So where are they getting the prison officers to staff Wandsworth? Well, basically, they're having a great deal of difficulty. So that was on today's BBC Radio 4. Charlie Taylor, I listened to what he got to say. I must say I am very impressed with Mr. Taylor. He seems to be a man who speaks his mind, which is very rare for anybody representing the Home Office. And I do believe that the Prison Reform Trust are on this. But where are they going to go? You see, listen, the prisons, they've lost the view. What are we using prison for? If we look at the Netherlands, they're using it to rehabilitate people. If we look at what we're doing in Great Britain, we're using it to punish people. Big difference, and we've lost the plot. I'm now going to arrive at that time. That's a song dinger, folks. Yeah. Oops, can't see me now, can you? There we are. I have to put the light up there. Here we are. Yeah, I'll do that, yeah. I'm going to read you a poem here that I wrote from my book. I write lots of books, by the way. But you really got to get a copy of HMP Manchester Prison Officer. Parts 1 to 3. Anyway, here we go. On Amazon, by the way. This is a poem that I wrote from my book. Flowers and Collected Poems. This is called Whenever You Call My Name, by John G. Sutton. There is a moment in each life, a time that has to be, when we call the name of one we love, one we long to see. The day must dawn, the noonday sun will shine, when I no longer answer, though the name you call be mine. Don't think I am not listening, even if I am not there. Beyond the old familiar house, that home that we once shared, I sleep now in the moonlight on a far distant terrain, where friends are reunited, their loved ones meet again, and I will hear you forever, whenever you call my name. Whenever You Call My Name by John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.